Hi, this is Dr. Kerry Johnson. We've been talking for the last 6 months about calling your clients during a crisis at least every 3 months. We've also said that it's really critical to call clients once a month right now. But boy, what a difference 6 months makes. Do you remember when the government said we have to do 15 days to flatten the curve? That was back in the middle of March. Now the government's saying, let's do 30 days to flatten the curve. And all of a sudden now the government's saying, we really got to find a vaccine before we can really kind of open the economy up. Well, that's a big reason why we need to call our clients every 3 months. As you well know, clients want three things from you. Number one, they want to understand what they bought. Number two, they want to know you're in control. You're watching out for them all the time. And number three, this is really critical. They want frequency of contact. They want to hear from you. I get new people to my coaching practice all the time. Says, I'm just paralyzed. I don't know what to do. I can't get people on the telephone. I can't get them to do video conferences with me. Well, the problem is you're paralyzed. That's the only problem. Clients still have needs. They still want to talk to you. They still have worries. They still have things they want to do with their assets. They want to have things they want to do with their life. They want to progress, et cetera, et cetera. The only thing that changed is you're not talking to your clients. And that's really critical right now. So we know that we need to talk to our clients normally on a non-COVID time once every 3 months. We also know that on a COVID period of time, let's call our clients once a month. And the least of which, even if nothing else happens, you're going to get referrals. Referrals are critical. And of course, the referral sentences, I always say this every time we're together. I always say, number one, the sentences are, really enjoy working with you. Number two, your clients have problems, your friends have problems, they have these issues, they're really in trouble. Give them a reason to help their friends. And number three, be very direct when you ask for a referral. Who do you know who could benefit from some of the things that we've done together? The biggest problem with getting referrals is you're just not asking. You keep forgetting to ask for referrals. Even if you say to somebody, hey, listen, I'd love to work with some of your friends, family, colleagues. Sometimes that's just enough. You just have to be thinking about asking on a consistent basis. Okay, so our 3-month phone call has 3 parts. Number one, catch up on the family. Number two, update them on anything you think is going to be relevant, what the stock market will do, what the stock market has done, what the real estate market may do, what it has done, what electricity may do, what it has done, what rates, doesn't matter what it is, we have to do an update that's relevant to your clients. So here's a economic market update. As I said before, in March, the government said 15 days to flatten the curve. Then they said 30 days to flatten the curve. And all of a sudden, California shut down. New Jersey is pretty much shut down. New York say they may open in the next few weeks. I don't know. Hope so. And there are many areas which I have seen resurgence of COVID-19. Texas and Florida. And all of a sudden, we can't do anything until we get a vaccine. Well, the problem is not everybody will take a vaccine. The whole population will not be inoculated with a vaccine until probably June of 2021. So that presents a couple of things, and that's treatments. Remdesivir is the treatment most widely accepted currently, is now being prescribed. But remdesivir only shortens the hospital stay from 10 days, 2 weeks, by 3 days. So it's not a panacea. Number two is hydroxychloroquine has been proven throughout many countries is an antimalarial. It works very well with erythromycin and also other supplements to be very efficacious against COVID-19. And that is typically given in the beginning of a COVID episode. And then we have Regeneron, which is an antibody course of treatment, and that will be in late-stage trials. Probably it'll end up coming out of late-stage trials probably by the end of August or maybe the middle of July. And the second thing is Number two is vaccines are progressing really fast. Vaccines are going to be available for comorbidities or for people over the age of 65 in about October. It's not going to be available for the general population until about January. But again, as I said before, it's really not going to be administered for masses until about June or July of 2021. So we're going to have that kind of volatility at least for the next 10 months. So it's really important to focus on that. And number three, market update. Hard to believe, but the stock market is trading at 25 times future earnings. Now think about that. The average earnings the stock market trades at is about 15 times earnings. A couple of reasons for this. Number one is support from the Fed. The Fed has basically said, we're going to pump things up and we're not going to let this economy sink. We're going to make sure we pump things up. And the problem is that we're seeing yields on bonds which are so low that the only a place for money to go is the stock market. So that's really important. The second reason is consumers are saving. I would have thought during a normal recession that consumers would save, but not to this extent, combined with the fact that consumers are spending. Many companies are like Papa John's Pizza, the tech companies, Facebook, etc. Online spending, for example, on some of these platforms, Amazon, for example, is up by about 25 to 30%. That's remarkable. Normally, during a pullback, you think that people would just spend less money, but not only they're saving, but they're spending more money online. Less in brick and mortar for obvious reasons they won't get infected. And that presents a couple of things. Number one, will there be a market crash? So the experts are saying, number one, the reason there could be a market crash because of a second wave of COVID-19. If the Congress fails to pass PPP soon enough in the next few weeks, it could cause a crash in September, October. Another reason a crash could occur is if the unemployment President Trump decided he wanted to do an executive order raising national back above unemployment by $400, part paid by the state, part by the federal government. But if that hits any snags and Congress can't get together and pass something like that, that could cause a crash too. So there's a lot of reasons why the market could crash in the fall, not the least of which some very famous economists think it will crash. Now, here's a couple of reasons why it won't crash. Number one, the market continues to do well, mainly because of rates. The Fed is keeping rates artificially low, which supports money in the markets. There's only one place for the investment money to go, and that's the market. Number two, growth can only improve. We had a 30% annualized contraction in Q2. If you just compare quarters to quarters, there was a 9% contraction from Q1 to Q2. Annualized that to be 32%. What that means is that if we see that kind of a contraction in the future, we're going to see a market crash. But as COVID dissipates, we tend to see more growth, more businesses open up, more people are hired. Another reason why we could see some more volatility is travel and leisure. American Airlines, which is where my wife works, is laying off nearly 35% of their ground crew, flight attendants, pilots, et cetera, et cetera. That's really important to keep in mind because they're offering these people early outs, early retirement. They're offering 1 year's worth of medical if they just take a hike right now. In some cases, they're giving them bonuses of $25,000 to $35,000 if they would just leave currently. The problem is, this is kind of in the weeds, but often these airlines are giving up flight benefits to flight attendants who want to keep flying non-revenue, as you call it, but won't have that added benefit if they leave early. So consumer spending is good. Growth will probably improve, and the fly in the ointment currently is, will there be a second wave, and will it cause more lockdowns? That's the thing that we're really not going to know about, and it's impossible to predict. So use these talking points as you talk to your clients. If you want to talk about anything else, that's fine, but make sure that you follow these talking points by saying, how do you feel? Just tell me how you feel. We want to start the conversation to try to get them involved in the 5-step bridge. And then you can listen for needs. We can recap needs, trial close needs, so you're no longer pitching. You're listening, which is what we want to do.